On October 31st, 2010, the Honda Motor Car Company threw a party for its humanoid robot, Asimo. Asimo turned 10 years old on that date. Some newspapers were hailing Asimo as the world's most advanced humanoid robot. This October, Asimo is going to be 17 years old, a teenager. 7 years on, Asimo now has some serious competition to the moniker Most Advanced Humanoid Robot. Let's take a look at what's going on in the world of humanoid robotics. Welcome to Asian Robotics Review's new online program series, Great Ideas in Robotics. Hi, I'm Tom Green, your host and fellow companion on today's journey. My co-host is the awesome world of robotics. Robotics is a youthful, quickly evolving technology that is moment to moment encountering, absorbing, transforming, and being transformed by other technologies. The technology is so new that the great ideas in robotics are happening now, today, tomorrow, next day. We started Great Ideas in Robotics to capture some of those new ideas as they arise. Humanoid Robotics is our first program. In fact, if you'd like to sponsor Great Ideas in Robotics, ping me or give me a buzz. Oh, there you are now. Wow, that was quick. Thank you very much. You'd like to what? This is Tom Green? Yeah? Great Ideas in Robotics, yes? Oh, thanks a lot. You know what? Hey, I'm on air right now. Could I ring you back right after the program? And I'll be back to you. Thanks again. Sponsoring the shows. You're going to love it. Okay, bye. Today, we're going to take our journey into humanoid robotics with a guide, David Hanson, founder and CEO of Hanson Robotics. David's a Texan. He moved himself and his company to Hong Kong in 2014. Strangely, or not strangely, however you want to look at it, most of all the new advances in humanoid robotics emanate from one place on planet Earth, Asia, specifically East Asia, namely Japan, Korea, and China. It's almost as if humanoid robotics is an Asian specialty. There are a lot of reasons for that. We'll get into them. David is best known for his full-size humanoids like Philip Dick, the deceased sci-fi author, who offers up TV interviews from a couch in David's laboratory. Also Sophia. She's the one that riled up Charlie Rose during a 60 Minutes interview. David is astride two worlds in humanoid robotics. One, the traditional Philip Dick and Sophia-esque type, and two, David has recently entered into the world of personal home robotics with his diminutive Professor Einstein. Personal home robotics has been forecast by ABI Research to become a $17 billion business by 2022. Here is what David is selling into that market for $299. Let's take a look.
My name is David Hanson. I'm CEO of Hanson Robotics. We bring robots to life as animated characters with facial expressions, physical moving gestures, conversational interaction. They can look at you and be your friend. That's our goal. Professor Einstein is just the start.
The time's right now to make an educational consumer robot that is affordable, that everybody could have in the home, your own personal genius. You have cloud connectivity and this amazing software that we built on the smart device. He has natural language speech processing with the cloud. He can trigger activities on the iPad like videos and interactive games.
Let's get the brain firing.
We all know that the human beings learn better the more senses you open up in the human body. We have this visual communication between you and the robot. Then we have the auditory one. And then while you're using your finger with the iPad and interacting with him at the same time, it's opening up more areas of the brain. So you're much more adept to learn. One of the things that's really behind everything we've done with Einstein is edutainment. Education and entertainment put into one. When he teaches you everything with science fact in a way that's digestible, very easy to understand. If you ask him what the weather is, he'll tell you the weather, but with a scientific fact.
Professor, what's the weather like in Charlotte?
Conditions in Charlotte are breezy. The current temperature outside is 70 degrees with a low of 41 degrees. By the way, not to put myself out of a job, but you can tell the temperature by counting the chirps of the cricket.
He's always trying to encourage you to learn, to reach, to grow. Just like the real Einstein, he explains everything in very simplistic terms. He walks like Einstein, talks like Einstein, has Einstein's facial emotions. Most of all, Einstein's personality.
Professor, have you heard any good jokes lately?
Stop me if you've heard this one. An ion meets an atom on the street and says he has lost an electron. The atom asks, "Are you sure?" The ion replies, "I am positive."
The technology is often now very cold and socially isolating. By bringing an animated character into our physical world, we're humanizing the technology instead of dehumanizing the humans.
Professor Einstein has an amazing set of facial expressions. He'll smile, he'll frown, he'll furrow his forehead, he'll stick his tongue out. It makes people want to interact with it. It makes people want to use it. It makes them feel friendly and comfortable, and especially when you're learning something. If you're learning something new, having an emotional connection with a robot is really important.
Tell me about the brain.
Now then, weighing in at 100 billion neurons, the human brain is pretty complex. Not bad for something that looks like a big wrinkly sponge.
Hey everybody, we got a really special treat for you today at Asian Robotics Review in our new program, Great Ideas in Robotics, and we've really encountered a great idea in the person of David Hanson, who is the founder, proprietor, and major domo at Hanson Robotics. He's a Texas guy who now finds himself in Hong Kong, so we're going to chat with him about it. You probably know some of his creations, like Philip Dick sitting on a couch conducting a TV interview, or the very famous Albert Einstein's head on a small Korean humanoid. So, hi David, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Tom.
You're very welcome, and you're very welcome to come aboard on Asian Robotics Review anytime. We got a special series that we're putting out now. It's called Great Ideas in Robotics, and what better place than come to Hong Kong and chat with you about all of that. Now, you've been there since 2014. Now, Bernice Chan from the South China Morning Post did an interview with you back in 2014, and you had arrived, and I guess you just a Texas boy who just picked up, and he went to Hong Kong so that he could build robots a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper. And she said, I guess you were going to go and probably set up shop in Sha Tin and maybe try and build a robotics community around yourself. Has that happened in the intervening 3 years?
Oh yeah, it's happened very well, exceeding my expectations. We at Hanson Robotics, we have a remarkable team, a few dozen people. Now we're in a little city called Sha Tin, a neighborhood in the New Territories of Hong Kong, in this campus called Science Park. Really great facilities, really good wet lab facilities and rapid prototyping machines and 3D titanium printers, scanning electron microscopes. The facility is really exceptional, and it's very close to the Shenzhen border, but also reasonably close to the center of Hong Kong. And South China has proven to be the perfect place to design and develop and now manufacture robots. We're doing two categories of robots and artificial intelligence for both. The first category is kind of what we're known for, which is the very natural-looking human-scale robots, very expressive faces, capabilities to see your face, make eye contact, have a natural flowing conversation, and the technologies and practices here are excellent for the next generation designs that we've been developing and for designing for scaled manufacturing. It's also no secret that a lot of the best human scale walking robots in the world come from Asia, and we're looking at the scaled manufacturing of lower cost versions of human robots, human-like walking robots, and the grasping hands and arms, which we're designing inside our company. The second category of development that we're engaging is for lower-cost personal robots. These would be robots that would be like little living characters. And so we have taken the Albert Einstein robot concept that we did previously, and we've turned it into a low-cost walking robot about 14.5 inches tall, with a full range of facial expressions and blinking eyes and pan and tilt head, the camera that can see your hand gestures and your face and track you and have a natural conversation with you. Wi-Fi, speech recognition built in, these computer vision capabilities built into the robot, but it also is able to connect with a tablet or phone. But all of these capabilities in one robot for retail price is $299. We expect our average selling price to be a little bit less than that. It's a lot of robot for very little cost.
Did you say $299?
$299. And so we have API and SDK for developing artificial intelligence. We have a wide variety of apps, educational apps that we've developed for kids and teenagers, and with the games, so other people can play with it. I mean, it's a lot. $299 bucks. We think for this kind of social robot, maybe the breakthrough pricing that we hope will turn social robots into with human-like character into a kind of killer app. We're seeking that breakthrough moment for social robots.
Oh, I think you'll get it. The Pew Institute did a study in the United States. Actually, it was worldwide, on loneliness, and the study showed that 1/3 of everybody in the United States was lonely. And Mattel heard about that and started designing dolls, to hit into that loneliness thing. So if you're really a lonely person, you come home and you really don't have a heck of a lot in life, $299 is peanuts. Really, you know what I mean? To pay for a companion. I mean, look at Alexa. Look what they're doing for Amazon. They're jumping off the shelves. They're sold, thousands of the things. So. And what you're doing is you're putting a face on there. You're putting a character that you can really fall in love with. So it's amazing. I'm amazed at the price. I thought it was going to be much higher.
Yeah. Well, doing this in South China really helps. The interesting thing is that this is also a place where we can market into China, and where we can take the kinds of technologies that we find here and market them around the world. A lot of this is manufacturing and design know-how, not necessarily just the manufacturing infrastructure, although that's strongest in this area as well. Now, we're also looking at this as a set of design tools that can be used in a widely reconfigurable way, a bunch of tools for creatively exploring the space. So our Albert Einstein is one example, and we're also making a Disney robot. Disney invested in our company under their accelerator program, and so we expect that we'll get that Disney robot to the markets pretty soon. We also have a number of other characters. So one thing about characters and character animation is that it's an artistic undertaking, meaning, you don't know necessarily which characters and stories people are going to go crazy over. What's going to be the big hit movie? What's going to be the next big franchise property for, story, some world building exercise. And we for sure that there will be. People love characters. They love that kind of experience of getting into the mind of the character, going through some adventures, and it drives the video game industry as well. So what we are working towards is developing robots into these kinds of animated characters, adding more features at lower costs. So the Professor Einstein is a breakthrough on that costing. We also can put more features in, and the cost could go up. We could put different features in, and the cost potentially could go down. We can give it different kinds of faces. They don't have to necessarily look as realistic as the Professor Einstein, although that's our little Professor Einstein product is more cartoon-like than any of the human-scale robots that we're famous for. But he does look more realistic than, say, your average anime character.
So now you're close to Shenzhen, so you find Shenzhen, that's a great place. I understand that you can go in there in the morning with a design for a robot and by evening come out with a prototype. I mean, is it that fluid and that good a place in order to, bring your designs and have your prototypes made?
Pretty much. Region is famous for doing very fast turnaround on products, prototyping and developing, and fast time to manufacturing. The interesting thing is that, according to the conventional wisdom, the creativity is not locally. However, that's changing. There's enormous amounts of creative exploration in China and the design of new products, the design of new technologies, the design of artificial intelligence. And so there's a creative explosion happening within China, which is really interesting. My aspiration with my company is to span the globe to help stitch together these disparate innovations into a toolkit for designing ambitious new intelligent robot products. And so we've got people in a couple of people in Europe. We've got some folks working in Los Angeles, a couple of AI developers in Austin, Texas, and we've got about 6 people in Ethiopia.
Wow.
Working with us. And so
how do you keep in contact? I mean, you do like Skype like we're doing, or you're online, or what? I mean, you model things, it's all CAD CAM, and you put things together. I mean, how do you work?
Oh, Skype, Google Hangout, cell phones, and Slack. So Slack is really great, and that's probably our best tool for sticking together. So in Shenzhen, we can get all kinds of great components, get electronics designed and turned around very quickly. We can get there are really good model shops, mechanical designers, and factories for doing scaled manufacturing. If you want to get millions of units made, that's a great place to do it. Those factories are really interesting because they also produce toy products. They also, make a lot of robot vacuum cleaners and other robot products. But toy products are interesting because they are really rugged. You think most people might think toys are disposable, but they can't be too disposable. There has to be a very low rate of returns. They have to pass some of the most stringent quality tests and safety tests in the world. They have to be able to drop from a meter. I don't know about you, but most research robots would cause your professors and students to break into tears if you dropped it from a meter, because the research robots would just smash, and there goes an entire PhD's worth of building time. But toy products have to pass these kinds of tests. So the quality of the factories to be able to pass these tests is also really exceptional. Not all factories can do it, but there are dozens of really exceptional factories in the Shenzhen area that can. So we want to bridge these worlds, bridge these robotics communities around the world. We're not alone in that, but so I know that there are a lot of companies that are thinking along the same lines, and communities like yours who are working to make these connections, in your case from Boston to Asia, and many other people's from Europe or South America. So, I forgot to mention we have a couple of people working in Brazil. So we've got these people all around the world, and we try to also participate in some open community efforts. So we have in Hanson Robotics, our chief scientist, Dr. Ben Goertzel, is a famous AI researcher, developer, founded the field of artificial general intelligence, named it, started the conference and the main society. He's got this open source AI platform that he developed called OpenCog, and we've rolled that in under, he basically hired a lot of his team inside our group, and we've turned it into some of the backbone of our AI system, which we're calling RoboCog. And so he's based in Hong Kong. We've got this chunk of his team here working at our facility, and then through that, we're giving back into that community to help kind of bridge these worlds, to create a toolkit that not just is useful for our group, but also useful for the world at large. And also, when we release our platforms, we want those platforms to be authorable for our company and also authorable for other people's work, third-party apps that could be developed, software developed on the robots, PhD research, research that companies might do. Our goal in all of this work is to humanize robots, and I mean that in the deepest sense, in the sense that we want robots to interact with people on human terms. We want AI to understand to the best of the ability of the technology, understand what it is to mean to be human, to understand people and your emotions, your desires, and to care.
I was wondering, you're in a part of the world that loves humanoid robots. Japan, China, I mean, Asia in general. So there's guys like Hiroshi Ishiguro with Geminoid F, and Chen Xiaoping with Gia. I mean, do you hang out with those guys and swap notes or whatever, or you sort of like go your own way?
Well, when I have a chance, I do hang out with them and swap notes. We are friends, colleagues. I feel a lot of respect for their work. My goal is to get the cost down and the features up so that we can release these things as a platform for additional development. So the human scale robots that I'm developing, I'm seeking to get the full size, the largest facial expressions that people could ever make. We want to match with the robots. We want this skin to form the right creases and folds the way that human expressions do. That requires a lot of material science innovation, and then get control of the robots so that we can animate them like fully expressive animated characters and achieve these natural, intelligent interactions. I think a lot of these goals overlap with Hiroshi Ishiguro's work, yet I feel that the marketplace can support a lot of robots coming out. I'm hoping that my team will be able to distinguish ourselves with the quality of expressions that we make, the size of the expressions, the full range of expressions, the lightweight, low power aspects that allow a fully expressive human scale face to mount on a walking biped robot like we've done with Albert Einstein and we're planning to do with our Sophia. And also then to transition this work into these mass-produced, low-cost robots like the Professor Einstein. I feel like that when these robots really capture people's hearts, there will be something like a gold rush into the area of intelligent character robots as a new kind of interface to voice assistants and a wide variety of other entertainment and information services. And these characters will then fuel a kind of frenzy of development for increasing social cognition in artificial intelligence. We're talking about affective and emotive computing with theory of mind, creating characters who care. And so because there is such a large opportunity, the companies that and groups that get there first have the opportunity to distinguish themselves. We hope to be one of those companies. Now, the work of my esteemed colleagues in the company also comes from a heritage of artificial intelligence and toy development and robotics development, character animation. That fuels it, and so we're not doing it alone. Not one person can do it, and also not one organization. So the other researchers and companies in the field, people developing artificial intelligence, it's really a worldwide community effort to make machines more intelligent and explore the usefulness of robots in many different forms. So I would also say it's important to note the other kinds of robots that are being developed. Ubotech with their alpha robots, and then of course Jibo is also an amazing product that's
if it gets to market. If Jibo could get to market, I mean, I think it's fantastic. But Cynthia, Brazil has been trying to get that to market for 2 years now. I met her at CES, and I said, when's it happening? And she says, soon. You can put a pre-order in, And I said, well, I don't know what the buying public is going to do there. But you're right. I mean, you've had some technical breakthroughs. Your ability to use battery power. I mean, and to control all those facial expressions without draining batteries, and then Frubber. You invented your own skin. I mean, so you guys are doing a lot of different things, and then you get the AGI on top of that. So that's a lot of balls to keep in the air, and I can see why you need a big team.
And fortunately, it's a pretty good time for developing these sorts of things, so you can do more with less money, and it's also an opportunity for creativity. So building a team that has that mental agility and creative intuition to develop the products and features very quickly it remains a challenge for any organization. I'm really proud of the group that we've pulled together, and I'm also proud of some of the kind of distinctive aspects of these technologies. I don't know of any robots. I mean, we were at CES this year, and there were a lot of robots. It was estimated there were 3 times as many robots at CES in 2017 as in previous years, and yet there were no robots with fully animated faces aside from the Professor Einstein that we were showing, and so it felt both affirming to be the only one, and also very lonely.
So, I guess so.
There's
like 200,000 people there, and
right.
1 million square feet of expo space, and you feel lonely. But you're pioneers. And then you go to Asia, and there are other people doing it over there. They know what you're talking about and all that. So someday, I was at CES in 2013. There were hardly any robots, and I would say, wow, this is pretty sad. And then from 13 to 16, it has just sort of exploded. And I think you guys are in along with that explosion, and you've got these super animated faces. I mean, when you went to Disney and you saw Lincoln get up out of a chair and walk towards you, that was I saw that and I said, wow, that's a machine.
Right.
So
right, and
you're doing the same thing.
Well, it's I'm hoping that that was an opportunity achieved. The Abraham Lincoln robot from Disney was really remarkable for driving a lot of traffic to Disneyland when they moved it over there. So in those first years, however, the field of artificial intelligence and robotics avoided the human-like form for a wide variety of reasons. Meanwhile, animatronics in the movies and theme park industry was doing fairly vigorous business through those years without the level of interactivity. So there's the fields, intelligent robots and animatronics were operating in parallel and isolation from each other. Yeah. And so I think that, I celebrate the amount of progress that was achieved historically, but I also note that there were opportunities lost because the human-like form is a really natural interface, and we've been pursuing more and more natural capabilities in voice-only interfaces, more natural TTS, speech recognition, interaction, but the nonverbal exchange between humans is really information-rich, and it also is emotionally rich for bonding, and so that obviously has market value with computer animation and video games. It drives billions of dollars to depict human-like form and figures and characters in these media. So if we can make that leap, we bring the best in artificial intelligence to bear on these natural animated character robots, and we get them out there at very affordable prices. My hope is that it becomes a new kind of convergence point for all of these technologies, and it means that AI can there's an economic incentive to develop AI to be more meaningful to people emotionally, that there would be a kind of market selection, a set of market pressures for people, where people are going to want the characters that are more empathetic, more understanding. So it means that developers are going to put those capabilities in, craft them as motivated, interesting characters, and that those would then mean that machine cognition would converge on human caring, capabilities to empathize with people, to build relationships with people, to earn the kind of adoration and trust of people, and that would mean that that we would associate with these machines in this deep way. And then AI that can understand people becomes more valuable in the marketplace. If it's been selected for adding value into people's lives, naturally that's what people will select for, then it is optimizing for beneficial consequences. So our vision is that these steps now address these questions of the pursuit of beneficial artificial general intelligence. We're looking for not just beneficial. We're looking for if it ever happens that AI surpasses human level intelligence and becomes super intelligent, we want it to also surpass human levels in its benefit and benevolence. So we're looking for the super beneficial super intelligence, super benevolent super intelligence. We think that this kind of relationship with our machines would be instrumental. So now we're in the realm of science fiction here. These technologies don't exist today. So we're talking about speculative pathways to make this happen. But my intuition says that making robots into characters is the pathway. And there's a little bit of reasoning to back that up. We're looking to explore that path fully. We think, based on my conversations with other robot developers and AI developers, we're also pretty lonely in pursuing that particular path. There are other people in your backyard in the MIT and Harvard community and in the Bay Area. There are people who are pursuing the idea of benevolent and beneficial super intelligent machines, like the questions of how can you ensure that machines are safe when there's a prospect that they might becoming smarter than people within our lifetimes. And my feeling and reasoning is that we need to explore many directions, and within our organization, we're exploring this idea of forming relationships with machines, deep, rich, meaningful relationships with machines. I think that this dialogue needs to be taken globally, and so that's one of the things that we're addressing in the world of Asia as well. Because not only in order for them to be relationship machines, and they can't just simply be a one-size-fit-all technology, they've got to appeal to a particular culture. So adapting our AI and our characters so that they're localized to the Chinese culture and Asian markets, and yet can be adapted and crafted into characters that are meaningful in North America and Europe and elsewhere around the world. This is really important. So we're talking about, again, specific products and the tool chains for developing many other products, and turning the specific products, wherever possible, into general platforms, general computing platforms for this kind of sociable AI.
So do you see Getzel's pursuit of artificial general intelligence as being like the key to it all?
I see that there will be a continuum. Today, machines are more generally intelligent than they were 35 years ago. However, they are still very narrow in their intelligence. There's a demand for increased capabilities in machine learning, adaptive intelligence, creativity in machines, which are different, actually. Each one of those is a different sort of part of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is hot right now. Symbolic reasoning can do things deep learning can't. So we're taking a neural symbolic hybrid approach, and that is in the short term. In the long term, our goal is artificial general intelligence. In the short term, we're talking about incremental advances, but hopefully, those increments are actually pretty disruptive, revolutionary, transformative. But it will probably be 5 to 15 years before we have anything where in the AI where you would be absolutely 100% convinced that it's as smart as a person or smarter, like passing every Turing test. That is our goal. If we achieve that, let me be optimistic. When we achieve that, it will be revolutionary beyond estimation. I believe that it would be the most profound technological achievement in the history of the planet for any company or group that does achieve that, because that kind of machine intelligence would be highly plastic, and it could be used to redesign itself to be even smarter. and it would be able to invent things with a perspective that humans don't have, so it would automatically be valuable because of the fresh perspective that it brings to any problem that it's trying to solve.
Oh, that's a great insight. Wow, that's great. Love that.
So again, we're speaking speculatively about what our future target is. However, in the short term, we can take what we have now and make products that are amazing. The products that give you a taste of that future, because we're kind of moving there. So they're like objects that are pieces of living science fiction. That's what our robots. That's how we perceive our robots. And that's one of the pieces of value that we hope our robots can bring to people.
Okay. Last question, then I'll get out of your hair here. But so when can the buying public expect to get their hands on a Hanson robot that they can bring home? How's that? When do they get this $299 robot? I'm ready.
Great. Well, we expect to be shipping to consumers in late April, early May, and we expect that there will be a very vigorous set of sales, and so we'll be ramping up to make a lot more units as we go into the holiday season. So if you want to get your order in now, you can go to our Indiegogo campaign and go ahead and buy one. So that's up now, and then you would be first in line.
I can just see now Singles Day with Jack Ma standing on stage holding one of these, and and people ordering them like crazy. I mean, that's what's going to happen. So, thank you very much for being on the program, David. It's been very enlightening, very enjoyable. You're a wonderful guy to talk to, and the audience is going to be quite enamored over the things that you have going for yourself in Hong Kong. So, from Asian Robotics Review, thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
My heartfelt thanks to everyone for stopping by Great Ideas in Robotics. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the program, which I sincerely hope will be the first of many. Robotics has a lot of great ideas to share, and we want to share them right here with you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Until our next program, please continue to click on over to Asian Robotics Review. We'll leave the porch light on for you. Goodbye, and have a great day.